Now you're ready. This is sneaky hot news.
Hot news.
Hot news or not news time.
Always good to have hot news and not news with Diana Rossini, ESPN NFL reporter, joining us on Keyshawn, J-Will, and Max on ESPN Radio. There you go, the ESPN app. And now ESPNU, presented by Progressive Insurance. Diana Rossini, hit her on Twitter, Diana ESPN. Diana, we'll start with Mike Evans' suspension upheld by the NFL.
Freddie, you heard him say hi to Diana?
I did hear you say. Diana, say hi back to Jay. Wanted to make sure we got that out.
Freddie, you didn't say hi to Diana.
Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Key. Good morning, everybody. It is great to be here. I appreciate the love. Thursday morning. Here's the thing. We start off hot on Thursday mornings with this interview. So this is, you got to catch up. So, hello, guys. Let's get to this.
There we go.
All right, I actually think this is hot news. The Mike Evans news is hot because the receiver situation in Tampa Bay is a little bit of a problem here with injuries, right? So we know Chris Godwin came back from that knee injury. He's dealing with a little bit of a hamstring issue now. Not sure if he's going to be able to go on Sunday. And then you got Julio Jones, who's supposed to be spectacular this season. And look, unfortunately, with Julio comes some spectacular play, but it also comes with injury every single week. So not having Mike Evans is a really big deal for Tom Brady and company.
It certainly is hot news, Diana. You mentioned it, Mike Evans. You mentioned the fact that suspension was upheld. Also, Chris Godwin, is he going to go? They went out and signed Cole Beasley. So that tells you right then and there where this offense is in the passing game. And Julio Jones, you said it again, Diana, it's something every single week throughout the last several years of his career on the injury front. And Tom Brady's got to be thankful he has Leonard Fournette in the backfield to help him out on the offensive side of the ball, though.
Yeah, I would say it's hot news just because it's Mike Evans and the way he plays. But at the end of the day, I mean, this defense and the way they pound the ball on the ground, Key, I think that's how they truly win games. And you just need your quarterback, the greatest of all time, to come through in those clutch moments. I think he does versus Packers.
Real quick, that's why I think it's not news, because of what you guys just said. Tampa Bay has told us who they are. The second half of the Dallas Cowboys game and last week versus the Saints, that they're going to be a pound the ball defense first team and have Tom Brady not have to carry this football team. So at least for 1 week, him being out may not be as much of a hot news because of the way the Buccaneers are going to play football in 2022. Justin Herbert considered day-to-day for the Chargers. They play the Jacksonville Jaguars, Diana, in a Week 3 matchup. Hot news or not news?
It's absolutely hot news when your starting quarterback like Justin Herbert especially is dealing with an injury like this. And the injury that he is, trying to figure out or at least trying to recover from, that's something that nags. You guys know this, the athletes here on this. That's not something that just heals over the next day or so. This is going to be something I think that we're going to still be talking about in a few months because it's one of those injuries. Anytime we talk about, especially with the quarterback, it just lingers. And of course the Chargers want their starting quarterback, but to be day to day, it's just not great.
Here's a couple things here. It is hot news. I've had a handful of injuries in my career, maybe 3, and one of them was certainly my ribs because I played a position where I was exposed a lot and I had rib cartilage issues going on in there. And so whenever you're twisting and you're turning and you're moving, that thing does not feel good. If you go back and you look at the game against the Kansas City Chiefs on the rollout, he couldn't even throw the ball. He was like, man, take this thing. Yeah. On top of that, Diana, you got to think this too. Who's going to be the guy? Because you assume as a football player, they're going to do some numbing of that particular spot if he's supposed to play. Who's going to be the guy that decides to inject that numbness in that area? And we know what happened with the Chargers and their doctor in the past with Tyrod Taylor.
Keep him away. Keep him away. Stay the hell away from me. I ain't doing it. I'm taking time off, Key, whatever I need to do to get my ass back on our field the right way. But
and they're gonna probably have him wear one of those. I remember Drew Brees used to wear it. We're around his one of those jackets, and it helps. Yeah. But Key, I remember talking to Drew about it 2-3 seasons ago after he wore it, and. It's one of those going into it, you have to be positive, like, oh, this is going to be great. But he told me afterwards, that thing is so uncomfortable.
It doesn't work because even it's up against your rib cage. And in the fact that you're moving and you get hit, it's still pressing the pressure up against it. I'm telling you, it does not feel good.
what you three said. Part of Hot News and Not News. Diana Rossini, ESPN NFL reporter. Hit her on Twitter at Diana ESPN. Joining us here in Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio. Bears quarterback Justin Fields tried to clarify the post-game remark after the loss of the Packers on Sunday. He tried to clarify that yesterday, Diana. Is that hot news or not news?
It's not news. You know, I think for him, when he just wins game, nobody cares. I think
Kenny Galladay's asking questions about playing time, as in not getting any of the New York Giants only 2 snaps in their win versus Carolina on Sunday. Diana, is this hot news or not news?
it's not news that he's saying it, because it's true. He's not getting a lot of involvement. It's hot news that the New York Giants paid what they did to sign him. Obviously, Brian Daboll wants to use him if he thought that he could play in his system and understood it. Right. So it's not like Daboll's just sitting there going, I just don't want to play the guy. I don't like his name. You know, there's obviously some disconnect here and something that coach isn't seeing from the receiver, that he's not being, that he's not a significant part of his game plan.
It's look, put it this way, it's hot news because, like Diana said, they paid the money. It would be a shame if they wasn't planning based on his name, right? but in the end, he's not good. He's just not. They overreached. He's not good for what they're trying to do. He doesn't give them, he doesn't make them smile when they walk onto the practice field. He doesn't do those sort of things. Is he better for somebody else and another team? Probably so. He was really decent in Detroit. I think they reached for him, and now this is what they get. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if he doesn't finish the year with the New York Giants and he finds himself on a better team or another team at the end of the season. I just wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I'm with you on this, kid. This is hot news to me just because I love the fact that now this coaching regime comes in with Joe Shane and they say, hey, look, just because our organization gave you the money when I wasn't around doesn't mean that you're going to just automatically have playing time on the field. Yep. Like, this is a clean slate for everybody. You got to earn it just like everybody else. And if you don't, even if you believe you should play, good luck with that.
Last but not least, Lamar Jackson.
And guys, when you take a look at this receiving core, like when you actually look at it, I was just with the Giants last week. They could use Kenny Galladay.
Yeah.
They could use him. You know what I mean? They in terms of the Detroit version of it. So there's obviously something that's not working here.
I'm glad
if they're not
you
able to go
threw
there,
the
because
Detroit version in there.
Yeah, because the Giants version has
Not last year version. Not the last year version.
You know, so it's just like there's no clear number one in New York, really. So, and they can't just keep leaning on Saquon. We saw what happened last week when they had trouble running the ball. They could use a really good wideout. It's just not Galladay.
Yeah, because that guy's not on their roster named Kenny Galladay. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson did not throw a practice yesterday due to an elbow issue, but he says there's no doubt he's going to play on Sunday versus the Patriots. Diana, is this hot news or not news?
Yeah, it's not news. I mean, it makes you definitely go, uh-oh, right? Or anytime you're going to see on a Wednesday a quarterback doing something he doesn't normally do. But I just think this is just wear and tear. He's been out there. He's been at training camp. He's playing a lot. He's getting hit sometimes. I think this is just part of the season. I don't have any concern. So I actually, deep down, don't really think this is hot news.
Yeah, it's not news at all. I laugh at this because I remember playing in Coach Parcells, every now and then you get a day or two off, and he made you still dress and stretch and do everything because he didn't want to hear some reporter talking about he saw you walking around not practicing.
Yeah, it's not news to me. But, every time one of these reports come out about injuries or, nagging things, and he just keeps showing up and doing his job and excels at it.
Yep.
I mean, that's what forces you as an organization. Like, damn, how do I not pay this dude?
Oh, they're going to pay
through nagging injuries, he just keeps showing up in a big-time way. Don't got nothing to say, just keeps bringing the heat at work.
It's true. And look, I probably would say it was hot news if he had something on his legs, right? Like, if he was out there with a big knee brace, I'd be like, okay, now I'm worried. But obviously we saw week one, his arm was quite valuable, and last week his leg. So I think Lamar's just fine. And this is going to be a really good test for this Ravens team to see if they can bounce back after a second half absolute defensive collapse.
Always appreciate you, Diana. Take care, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
You have a nice leather jacket on,
Thanks,
by the way,
guys.
too, Diana.
Yes, she does. Yes, she's styling, no doubt about that.
right,
Yeah, it's a little too Olivia Benson from Law and Order, but I'm in the business of hunting down and solving problems today.
Well, they got the whole crossover episodes tonight with all three of them from 8 to 11 o'clock, so there you go.
How do you know that?
Because I'm Freddie Coleman. That's how I know that. Diana Rossini, ESPN NFL reporter.
Thanks, Freddie.
Hit her on Twitter, Diana ESPN. Don't forget about the football doubleheader this Sunday. Patriots host the Ravens. That's game 1. Jaguars at Chargers. Game 2. Coverage begins at noon Eastern time on select ESPN radio stations. With Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, Freddie coming in for Max Kellerman on Keyshawn, Jay Williams, Max, and ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, also ESPNU. Click more in the lower right-hand corner and then scroll down to live radio, and bam, that's where you can find the show. We're going to have an FOS friend of the show stop by and find out exactly that Jacoby Brissett is not the problem in Cleveland.